I've been seeing a lot of people doing some pretty silly stuff on the table saw lately. So I thought I'd make a quick video on how I use a table saw. I borrowed this saw from Jeff. This is the SawStop compact contractor saw. I have an industrial cabinet saw. I figure most people don't have that. One of the things people do that I think is pretty silly is not having an outfeed table. That's probably the first thing that I would build if I got a table saw, and probably was one of the first things that I built way back in the 80s. And I'm also going to let you know how to get a free pattern for this push stick, which I think is the best push stick out there. I like the visibility, I like how the hand is far away from the blade, and I like how you have just enough material on the mouth here to keep your wood down. So let's take a quick look at this saw. I'll tell you why I like it and why I recommend a SawStop for anybody getting into woodworking. I'm not sponsored by SawStop, but I have friends who have more money than they know what to do with. They get into woodworking, they go out and buy the yellow saw. They tell me, I say, sell it and get a SawStop, because there's a good chance you're going to cut your hand. I cut my left index finger about 35, maybe even 40 years ago now, by having my hand go in front of the blade or behind the blade to guide a board. Of course, there was kickback, kicked my hand back, and luckily it wasn't too bad, a few stitches, but it could have been worse. So let's go ahead, take a look at the saw, and then rip a few boards and maybe do a couple of cross cuts. The fence is stored under the rail. Hit these buttons. You can take the fence out. And then it drops into, there's pins on either side. I'll bring the camera over so you can see what I'm talking about. That was the pin on the back of the rail. This is the pin on the front. Now I can adjust the fence and lock it in place. Now the fence is locked in place. I can unlock it, adjust it, and lock it in place again. Here's a push stick. I personally would never use a plastic push stick, but it's better than nothing. If I extend the fence all the way out, I can flip the fence over, or this piece right here, and drop it all the way down to its lowest setting. Now it's coplanar with the table, and that's great for ripping thin pieces of, or cross-cutting thin pieces of plywood, or ripping thin pieces of plywood that are wider. I'll get another piece that will demonstrate how that would work. Maybe this pattern works a little bit. You can see if I had my hand here, the weight, if that wasn't there, would go like this. So that's a nice feature. Here's a good example of how that support works. I'm extending the fence out to 20 inches, lock it in place, bring the support over, drop it down to its lowest setting. Now if I had this piece here, you can see as I push it through the saw, let me lower the blade. As I push it through the saw, it's supported over here. Now if that wasn't there, I'll take it away. As I bring this piece in, you can see that wouldn't be good. So right now I'm at 20 inches. If I need 24 inches, I can snap the fence off and drop the fence on the pin on the outside of the rail. And now I've got a full extension of just about 24 3/4 of an inch. These pins are exactly 4 inches apart, so when your fence is on the outer pin, you're reading from the black tape measure. When it's on the inner pin, you're reading from the silver tape measure. Let's bring this back to the inner pin. Now let's raise the blade and I'll show you the low fence. So we're ripping at 7 inches. If we bring the low fence over, you have to subtract 2 inches. We'd be ripping at 5 inches. This is a safety so you don't accidentally bring the aluminum fence into the blade, which would set off the safety mechanism. You can bypass that by manually holding that in if you need to make a closer cut. This is how you raise and lower the blade and change the angle. And you have a micro adjustment so you can get it close and then dial it in and then lock it in place. Here's the tools for changing the blade, a blade guard and a miter gauge. Here's a look inside. If you're going to use the blade guard, and I would suggest that you do if you're just getting started, it's as simple as removing the riving knife, and then you drop the riving knife in place, lock it back, and there you go. So let's go ahead and make some cuts. So here's a typical piece of plywood that you might rip. You could pretend this is hardwood if you want. And it measures 8 inches. So I'm going to go a little bit beyond 8 inches and show you something I think is like one of the scariest things that I see. And that's people using a push stick in their left hand when they're righty. You see people, sometimes you see people with 2 push sticks doing one of these things. And you're like, man, if you're that afraid of the saw, you shouldn't be using it. I don't think I've ever used 2 push sticks. So let's just go ahead and make a rip. We'll bring this down to, let's say, 7 inches. At 7 inches, I'm not going to use a push stick. And I'm also not going to push from over here, because if I'm pushing from over here, the board's going to want to go this way. So I'm kind of using my thumb to kind of keep this against the fence. See where my thumb is? Now this board is at 7 inches, and you can use a push stick if you're more comfortable with that. At this point, I'm not going to. I'll bring this into, let's say, 6 inches. And again, when I push through, I have my thumb out here. That's keeping pressure against the fence. The front right side of the board is staying tight against the fence. Notice I'm not like this, right? Because if I'm like this, I might be pushing this end out. The riving knife is helping by preventing that. But I'm not being so afraid that I'm holding the material like this. I'm using my thumb to keep the front of the board up tight against the fence. We'll bring it into, let's say, 4.5 inches. I'm still comfortable not using a push stick. See, my left hand is a guide here. My left hand never goes in front. You say here, say here. I stopped during the middle of the cut there, but I realized I'm talking and the saw is going, it's probably very loud. What I'm never doing is reaching in front. I'm never coming to the side with my hand. My hand is always in front of the blade. I guess this would be behind, this would be in front. So I might be guiding here, or my hand's completely away. I'm also keeping a space. If this board kicks back, it's going to kick through here. This is one of the stupidest, scariest things I see, is people doing things like this. And it's just like, my goodness, what are you doing? Because you have no control, and just by being on this side of the fence, you're kind of pushing the wood against the fence. So anybody who's doing this, you shouldn't do that. I don't know what else to say. So let's go ahead. I think I'm comfortable at about 3 inches, not using a push stick. You don't have to do that. That's just where I'm comfortable. But you can see my hand is still going to be right here. Where my phone is? All right, now we'll bring it in a little bit, and I'll use a push stick. You'll see why I think this is the best push stick out there. My boss from 40 years ago originally made this. I copied it one day at lunchtime, and I've been using this pattern ever since. I just like the visibility. I see some of those other push sticks, you know, these things, whatever. Hey, it's like anything, you kind of get used to it. But one kind of note of confidence, I bought this over to Green Street Joinery. They took a look at it, they put it on their fence, and it's been there ever since, and they've been making copies of it. It just happens to be a really good design. So I'm going to bring this into, I will just say 1 inch, right? That's where you'd want to use a push stick. Also, I do think the blade is a little high. That's a mistake I see people making. They're cutting 3/4 inch material and their blade is 2 inches tall. You just want your blade maybe 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch above your material. And now we'll go ahead and cut this piece. Let's see, what was I going to do? I'm going to write my name here so you can go to my website and see where to get this. That's an S. All right, let's put this push stick to use. Let's bring the fence way in and make a really tight cut and even cut into the push stick. See, I say that's even a little scary. So what I like to do when I make these is bring them over to the bandsaw and make this cut. Just gives me more visibility. That cut was a little hairy, but I didn't feel so bad because my hand's so far away from the blade. I've raised the blade a little bit because I'm cutting, this looks like it's almost 6/4 cherry, and we'll go ahead and make that cut. Okay, that's a quick look at the compact. I think I called it a contractor saw. It's a job site saw, a compact job site saw. And just a few ways that I like to use a saw. A few things. You want to have like an exit strategy. You know, if the board kicks back, it goes like this. You don't want to push things through this way. I see a lot of people kind of pushing boards through the saw this way, and I always cringe a little bit. You don't want to be working from this side of the saw because you're pushing into the blade. You want to focus your material against the fence, and you just don't want to do anything stupid or anything that you're afraid of. So take your time, look at a couple of videos. As far as the saw is concerned, there's a lot of videos on the SawStop channel. You can learn a lot more about this. And again, if you like this push stick, you can go to my website at johnpeters.com, type in push stick to the search bar, and you'll be able to print this out, stick it on a piece of plywood. I like 1/2 inch plywood, Baltic birch plywood if you have it. I don't like plastic push sticks. I don't even know where I do. Oh, there it is. It's because they tend to blow up. That's what I've heard. I never used them, but Jeff was saying he's had one blow up on him. Other people have said that. So, I mean, it might be nice to have here in a pinch, but go ahead and make a real push stick, a time-proven push stick. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one. If you like old school woodworking and want to build the furniture for your home, I hope that you'll check out my website at johnpeters.com. I have a ton of woodworking project plans on my site, and they all have video tutorials right here on YouTube designed to help guide you through the project. Everything from beginner to advanced projects. I'm sure you can find something that matches your taste in furniture and your woodworking skill level. So I hope that you'll visit my site at johnpeters.com and let me help you with your next woodworking project.